Namaste, angels. This is going to be the weekly general reading. I'm going to jump right in, out of order, 10:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday night. I'm going to the sky this week first. Sunday, October 1st. Brilliant Venus rises around 5 a.m. local daylight time, shortly before morning twilight starts to paint the sky. It shines brilliantly at a magnitude -3.9 and helps to point the way to magnitude 1.8 Mars. So remember I told you that at the end of this week, at the end of last week, rather, when I was doing last week's reading, through this week to October 5th, which is the first day of Sukkot in the Hebrew calendar, but also the full moon in Aries. It's all this week, Mars and Venus moving closer and closer together. So this is what this is talking about here. Venus will help to point the way to a magnitude 1.8 Mars, which rises 13 minutes later. The two planets appear just 2.5 degrees apart. So they're right up on each other. And the gap will shrink noticeably over the next few days. So they're gonna continue to get closer and closer, with all of that culminating on the 5th. So 3 things happening on the 5th. Just like 2 weeks ago, the 21st, the new moon, there was so much activity on that day. It was the new month, it was the new year, it was the new moon, so on and so on. 3 planets got blacked out of the sky. And here comes the bullshit. The next day, people going, oh, there's going to be a huge shift today, because they like to use big words and pretend to know what they're talking about. And we fall for it. Oh, look, pretty colors, a pretty blog. And we fall for it. The shift was going to be happening because of the fall equinox. Now, common sense will tell you if about 10 different major celestial events, including one that wasn't going to happen for another 28 years, which was those 3 planets being blacked out of the sky, plus Regulus, the star. Why on earth would the shift, any shift, be attributed to the fact that it's now fall? Like, big whoop. That happens every year. We got to start using our logic, and very simple logic, common sense, to discern, what is truth and what is not. We've been at this for a while, guys, many of us. A long time. It's time to start cutting away at the bullshit. But back to this. Major stuff happening on the 5th. Let's go into the 2nd, though. Tonight marks the unofficial start of the annual Orinoid meteor shower. Although the Orinoids won't peak for nearly 3 weeks, on the night of October 20th or 21st, you should start to see a few shower members in the early morning hours. These meteors appear to radiate from the northern part of the constellation Orion, the Hunter. So they're going to look like they're coming from him, which is pretty interesting. Tuesday, October 3rd. Saturn remains a tempting target in this week's evening sky. The ring planet stands 20 degrees above the southwestern horizon as darkness falls. Shining at a magnitude of 0.5, it appears significantly brighter than any of the background stars in its host constellation, the Serpent Bearer. Of course, the best views of Saturn come through a telescope, which reveals a 16-inch diameter globe surrounded by a spectacular ring system that spans 37 inches and tilts 27 degrees to our line of sight. Wednesday, October 4th. The night's most conspicuous harbinger of winter now rises in the east around midnight. Local daylight time, the constellation Orion the Hunter appears on its side as it rises, with ruddy Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, to the left of the 3 belt, and blue-white Rigel to the right of the belt. As Orion climbs high in the south before dawn, the figure rotates so that Betelgeuse lies at the upper left and Rigel at the lower left of the constellation's pattern. It looks kind of like Beetlejuice, actually. It's Betelgeuse or Beetlejuice, Betelgeuse. Any case, moving right along to Thursday, October 5th. So that big day. The full moon, Aries full moon, Mars and Venus up on top of each other, to the male planet of love and the female planet of love, sort of making love together. And the first night of Sukkot. So I'll explain what Sukkot is also. Full moon occurs at 2:40 p.m. 2:40 equals 6 equals love. Eastern Daylight Time. But our satellite will look completely illuminated all night. You can find it rising in the east shortly after sunset and peaking in the south around 1 a.m. local daylight time. The moon skims along the border between Cetus the whale and Pisces the fish overnight. As the full moon closest to the autumn equinox, which occurred on September 22nd, this is also the harvest moon. In early autumn, the full moon rises about a half hour later each night compared with a nominal lag. I'm using my tiny laptop tonight. It's very small. Nominal lag close to 50 minutes. The added early evening illumination supposedly helps farmers bringing in their crops. Venus and Mars appear just 0.2 degrees apart. So not even a full degree. 0.2, of course, 11. About half the full moon's diameter. And this all happens before dawn. The two planets haven't been this close since November 1995. So by all means, people, if there's a shift on the 6th, or if you start to see stuff about a shift coming on the 6th, because the 6th seems to be a nice day, please, let's use some discernment and common sense and say, well, you know what? You can't back up why this so-called shift is happening, but there's good reason for one to happen on the 5th. So I'm going to go with that. Hasn't happened since 1995 for the planets to be this close. If you view the pair through binoculars, you'll also see the 4th magnitude star Sigma, 3 degrees or 0.3 degrees rather, so not even a full degree again there, north of Venus. Unfortunately, the telescope doesn't add much to the scene. Venus measures 11 inches across, while Mars spans 4 inches. Of course, 4 is an 11. So together they equal 6 equals love. Both worlds will appear nearly full. On the same day, although Neptune reached opposition and peak visibility a month ago, it remains a worthwhile subject. The outermost planet appears 1/3 of the way to the zenith in the southeastern sky after darkness falls and climbs highest in the south around 11 p.m. A lot of 11s this week, local daylight time. Neptune glows at a magnitude 7.8, which is bright enough to spot through binoculars if you know where to look. The trick is to find 4th magnitude Lambda Aquarii, which lies about 10 degrees southeast of Aquarius, distinctive water jar asterism. This week, Neptune appears 0.6 degrees southeast of the star. When viewed through a telescope, the planet shows a blue-gray disk measuring 2.3 inches across. But the big event this evening involves Neptune's large moon, Triton. Observers in the northeastern United States and eastern Canada can watch the satellite pass directly in front of a 12th magnitude star. Viewers will see the star dim by 1.4 magnitudes for up to 161 seconds, sometime between 7:44 and 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, depending upon location. So all of that stuff, including the full moon, happening on the 5th. Friday, October 6th. The second brightest asteroid of 2017 puts on a nice show in October's sky. Minor planet 7 Iris glows at a magnitude of 7.5, which is bright enough to see through binoculars from the suburbs. It resides in the constellation Aries the Ram, a region that climbs high in the east by late evening. Iris stands 3 degrees due east of Aries' brightest star, magnitude 2.0 Hamal, Hamal, and this will occur all week. Saturday, October 7th, Uranus reaches opposition in less than 2 weeks, but it's already a tempting evening target. The ice giant world rises within a half hour after sunset and climbs more than 30 degrees above the eastern horizon by 10 p.m. local daylight time. The magnitude 5.7 planet lies in Pisces, 1.4 degrees west-northwest of magnitude 4.3 Omicron Pisceum. Although Uranus glows brightly enough to see with the naked eye underneath the dark sky, binoculars make it much easier. A telescope reveals the planet's blue-green disk, which spans 3.7 inches. Mars reaches aphelion at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time when the planet's orbital motion carries it farthest from the sun. It then lies 154.9 million miles from our star. And lastly, Sunday, October 8th, Saturday the 7th is a feast day for Mary, by the way. I'll go over that after. Our Lady of the Rosary. Sunday, October 8th. Look high in the east after darkness falls this week, and you should see autumn's most conspicuous star group. The great square of Pegasus stands out in the evening sky this time of year, though it appears balanced on one corner and looks more diamond-shaped. These four almost equally bright stars form the body of Pegasus, the winged horse. The fainter stars that form the rest of this constellation trail off to the square's west. Mercury passes behind the sun from Earth's perspective at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This means the innermost planet lies on the opposite side of the sun from Earth and remains hidden in our star's glare. It will return to view in the evening sky at the end of October. So Mercury, because remember last week, in last week's reading, it was first Mercury and Mars that had sort of confronted Venus, and then Mars was going to be the one to continue to move closer and closer to her. So now Mercury has gotten the boot completely and is going to be hidden out of view until the end of the month. So just think about that as like your love triangle, and one is boop, you're out of here. All right, so that's the end of the sky this week. That was, of course, from astronomy.com. Not from me. I get the download. I look it up. Moving on. What's going on with the Christian calendar this week? Well, from what I will talk about, Monday the 2nd is the feast day of guardian angels. And again, Saturday, October 7th is the feast day of Our Lady of the Rosary. But in between there, here are some others that some of you may want to know about. Sunday the 1st, which is tomorrow, the first day for which this reading is, Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, who was a virgin and a doctor. Again, Monday the 2nd, the feast day of guardian angels. Tuesday the 3rd is clear, nothing being celebrated that day. Wednesday the 4th, St. Francis of Assisi. Thursday the 5th, all clear on that. And Friday the 6th, St. Bruno, the priest, and Blessed Marie Rose, who was another virgin. Saturday the 7th, Our Lady of the Rosary. And then Sunday the 8th, all clear on the Christian calendar. But moving on to the Hebrew calendar, the 5th, so Sunday the 1st through Wednesday the 4th are all clear on the Hebrew calendar as well. Thursday the 5th is the first day of Sukkot, S-U-K-K-O-T. Now, some of you, I don't know how they do it in the suburbs. I'm from the city. I'm from New York City, most of you know. And sometimes in our parks, you'll see a tent. It's like somebody pitched a tent in a public park, and then you may see a bunch of like Orthodox or Hasidic Jews. They're celebrating Sukkot. They're going. So I'll explain what that is now for those of us who are unaware. But it's the first day, and Sukkot goes through the 13th. So every day thereafter, this week will be a feast day of Sukkot. So that's both of those calendars, and let's explain what the Feast of Guardian Angels is about. This is from BBC. The Feast of Guardian Angels is a Catholic festival celebrated annually on October 2nd. Paul V was the first pope in 1608 to authorize the feast day in honor of guardian angels. And of course, 1608 equals 6 equals love. Pope Clement the 10th changed the date to October 2nd, and Leo the 13th did again in 1883. And he also, at that time, he made it more official that this was going to occur on the 2nd, but also upgraded the date to a double major feast. 1883, of course, 9/11. Those of you on my Facebook page saw that I was getting numbers, seeing numbers, receiving numbers, equaling 9/11 from Archangel Michael all day on his feast day, September 29th. That feast day also shared with Archangels Raphael and Gabriel. Those of you who watched me last week will know this. And I think, and I posted on my Facebook page, and many of my Facebook friends agreed, another point about discernment: anybody that's supposed to be an expert on quote unquote twin flames or earth angels that didn't know that it was the celebration of the leader of the army of light, Archangel Michael, and others of the major archangels, what are called the major archangels. Anybody that didn't know that's supposedly an expert or a teacher, they are fraud. I'm sorry. And I gave them a week in advance to, watch me and take it from me and disseminate it too. So if they still didn't, not only are they a fraud, they may be a demon also. And these are other people that we may want to personal discernment, and for each to make their own choices. But for me, common sense would tell me that's not whom I, choose to follow, or from whom I choose to gain an understanding on this journey. All right, so the Feast of Guardian Angels. Again, Catholics believe that in each soul, including Christians and non-Christians, has an angel assigned to it to give guidance throughout its life on earth. These guardian angels, according to Thomas Aquinas, who is also a saint — Thomas means twin, by the way — are they're ranked among the lowest rank of angels, the guardian angels. They help humans in several ways, however, including by protecting them from demons and encouraging them to do good works. The angels cannot affect its humans' free will, but only the senses and imagination, and through these, the intellect. On reaching heaven, each person is united with his or her guardian angel. So that, again, was from the BBC. This one's from Franciscan Media. Perhaps no aspect of Catholic piety is as comforting to parents as the belief that an angel protects their little ones from dangers, real and imagined. Yet guardian angels are not only for children. Their role is to represent individuals before God, to watch over them always, to aid their prayer, and to present their souls to God at death. The concept of an angel assigned to guide and nurture each human being is a development of Catholic doctrine and piety based on Scripture, but not directly drawn from it. Jesus' words in Matthew 18:10 best support the belief. See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I say to you that their angels in heaven always look upon the face of my heavenly Father. Devotion to the angels began to develop with the birth of the Masonic tradition. Saint Benedict gave it impetus, and Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, the great 12th century reformer, was such an eloquent spokesman for the guardian angels that angelic devotion assumed its current form in his day. A feast in honor of guardian angels was first observed in the 16th century in the year 1615. Which equals 13, which equals 4, which equals 11. And this was done by Pope Paul V when he added it to the Roman calendar. Reflection: devotion to the angels at its base is an expression of faith in God's enduring love and providential care extended to each person day in and day out. And with that, I'll go on to the Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. Our Lady of the Rosary is also known as Our Lady of the Holy Rosary. This is a title of the Blessed Virgin Mary. In relation to the Rosary, the Feast of Our Lady of Rosary is formerly known as the Feast of Our Lady of Victory. I was baptized in Our Lady of Victory Church. Also, the Feast of the Holy Rosary. And it is a feast day in the Roman Catholic Church celebrated on October 7th, the anniversary of the decisive victory of the combined fleet of the Holy League in the year 1571 over the Ottoman Navy at the Battle of Lepanto, Lepanto. Patronage. Our Lady of the Rosary is the patron saint of several places around the world. The diocese of Malaga, Malaga. This is in Spain. They, however, celebrate her patronage on September 8th, and the Spanish cities of Melilla and Trujillo celebrate Our Lady of Victories as their patroness as well. Furthermore, Maria del Rosario is common female Spanish name that people name their daughters after the Blessed Mother. Okay, Rosario can also be used as a male first name, particularly in Italian. And then go on to talk about churches. The feast day was first instituted as Our Lady of Victory by Pope Pius V as an annual feast to commemorate the victory at Lepanto, which he attributed to the Blessed Virgin Mary. Dedications to Our Lady of Victory preceded this papal declaration. In particular, Simon de Montfort, 5th Earl of Leicester, built the first shrine dedicated to Our Lady of Victory in thanks for the Catholic victory over the Albigensians, Albigenians, at the Battle of Muret, Muret. This happened on September 12th in the year 1213. In 1573, Pope Gregory the 13th changed the title of the Feast of Our Lady of Victory to the Feast of the Holy Rosary. Dominican friar Juan Lopez, in his 1584 book on the Rosary, states that the Feast of the Rosary was offered in memory and perpetual gratitude of the miraculous victory that the Lord gave to his Christian people that day against the Turkish Armada. In 1671, the observance of this festival was extended by Clement X to the whole of Spain, and somewhat later, Clement XI, after the victory over the Turks gained by Prince Eugene in the Battle of Petrovardian on August 6th in the year 1716, which is this feast day of Our Lady of the Snows. So she already had a feast day being celebrated on the day of this victory. And that commanded for them to institute the Feast of the Rosary to be celebrated by the Universal Church, assigning it to the first Sunday in October. So that is that. A set of proper lessons in the second nocturne were conceded by Benedict XIII as well as Leo XIII, and that raised the feast day to the rank of double second class and added it to the Litany of Loreto in invocation, Queen of the Most Holy Rosary. On this feast, in every church in which the Rosary has been duly erected, a plenary indulgence upon certain conditions to all who visit therein the Rosary Chapel or statue of Our Lady. I don't know what that means. I think they left out a word or something. Or maybe I missed something. This has been called the Portiuncula, Portiuncula of the Rosary. Pius X in 1913 changed the date to October 7th as part of his effort to restore celebration to the liturgy of Sundays. In 1960, Pope John the 23rd changed the title to the Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. Okay. And with that, let me move on to Sukkot. Sukkot is a Hebrew holiday. In traditional Ashkenazi pronunciation, Sukkos, S-U-K-K-O-S, or Sukkos, S-U-C-C-O-S, which literally means Feast of Booths. as in like a booth, the tent, Booth. It's commonly translated to English as the Feast of Tabernacles, or sometimes as the Feast of Ingathering. That is from Wikipedia. And from Shabbat.org, sustaining the joy of Sukkot in our relationships. One of the most important ingredients to any successful relationship is joy. In fact, there is even a special mitzvah to make, like a goal, right? To make your wife happy during the first year of marriage. And this can be found Deuteronomy 24:5. However, after the luster of the new relationship wears away and couples seek to improve their marriage, much of the focus shifts to what is wrong and what needs to change. While it is important to directly address the rough spots in a relationship, and this is usually what motivates couples to seek counseling, there are ways to effect change by bypassing the negative in favor of the positive. In some ways, this parallels the fall holidays. From Elul, so the month of Elul, which was last month, until Yom Kippur, which is today, September 30th, we reflect on what we need to change in order to reconnect to God. It's a serious time, and without a real understanding of how to constructively apply the repentance process, one can easily go down the path of negativity and guilt. This period is immediately followed by Sukkot, the time of our rejoicing. We reach the culmination of this process at Shemini Atzeret Simchat Torah. It is this impression of joy that we take to sustain us for the rest of the year as we re-enter the world. So this is about to be a rebirth. The lesson of Sukkot and Simchat Torah is that we can also restore our connection to God through joy. In one sense, it's through joy that we can truly reconnect with our spouse and to achieve peace in our home. Hasidic teachings explain the verse, and you can find it in Isaiah 55:12. For in joy shall you go out, and in peace shall you arrive. It means that through joy, one can leave all difficulties and reach peace and completion. Joy is a shortcut to connection, even in the midst of the most difficult times. We see this in our everyday family interactions. Sometimes if my kids are being fussy or throwing a tantrum, instead of dealing with the negative, I do something silly or try to make them laugh. This immediately shifts the mood and allows us to reconnect. Making time for fun, even to laugh or to be silly, is essential to any relationship. An appreciations dialogue. One practical way to infuse joy into a relationship is to express appreciation. While most of us do say thank you, we often forget to express our appreciation to our spouse in specific terms. The purpose of the exercise below is to transform the way you express gratitude, to infuse more everyday joy into your marriage. It's called the appreciations dialogue. When I work with couples, I open our sessions with a brief dialogue. While we may say thank you to each other throughout the day, this exercise teaches couples to become more cognizant of their appreciation for each other and to develop into appreciative people. The best way to do this exercise is for each member of the couple to sit down on a chair and face each other. Think about something your spouse has done for you or something about their character that you appreciate. Now you're ready to begin. Here's an example of what it looks like. Husband: I appreciate that you made my lunch today. Wife: you said that you appreciate that I made your lunch today. Did I get you? And in parentheses they have, did I understand you correctly? Husband: and the reason I appreciate that is that I feel that you care about me. Wife: you said that the reason you appreciate that is that you feel that I care about you. Did I get you? Is there more? Husband: no. Wife: thank you. A more meaningful thank you. While this may seem a little awkward at first, it is a more meaningful way of saying thank you. Assuming you even think to thank your spouse for making you lunch. Are you running out the door, yelling from another room, or calling on your cell phone, creating a formal procedure to express appreciations allows both parties to really be present with each other. Remember that the appreciation must be purely positive. Backhanded compliments with negative implications do not express true appreciation and can be poisonous to a marriage. Notice that the husband did not say, "I appreciate that you finally made me lunch for a change." By focusing on the positive, couples increase positive energy and return to a good place in their relationship, to their original sense of connection. Now that you're sitting down, how would you typically respond if you were being thanked for making lunch? "No problem. It was nothing. My pleasure. You're welcome. Sure." Maybe you weren't even listening. The appreciations dialogue allows you to take in your spouse's kind words and to feel the positive sentiment that he or she is expressing. By mirroring back what her husband says, the wife is compelled to listen and not interject, argue, or even belittle her own efforts. If a person is not able to receive the love that their partner is showing, he or she prevents the positive energy occasioned by such interactions and disregards this opportunity to build happiness. We really have to work on being able to both give and receive love. And that receiving part is often hardest of all for many of us. Even something that is seemingly trivial or obvious should be articulated. Besides the aforementioned benefits of expressing gratitude, the benefits of articulating appreciations are twofold. By becoming more conscious, the one sharing the appreciation will experience increased feelings of gratitude toward his or her spouse. And the one on the receiving end will feel good that his or her actions were noticed. Feelings of resentment or being taken for granted start to dissipate, and the relationship quickly shifts. And it's funny because I pulled out and shuffled my surrender cards today. And I am starting with surrender resentment. Holding on to resentment only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward toward positive situations in your life. Not only does this dialogue reinfuse joy into relationships, it also motivates change. When one is constantly feeling appreciated, it creates motivation to continue those actions. In our example, the wife may be motivated to make her husband's lunch tomorrow. Even if it is a daily task for her, she will do it with joy as opposed to resentment. As we leave the sukkah for the last time and re-enter our homes, may we take the joy of the time of our rejoicing and infuse it into all of our relationships. And that was by Shlomo, S-H-L-O-M-O, Slatkin, S-L-A-T-K-I-N, and can be found on Chabad.org, CHABAD.org. And with that, here go our dice. I bought shoes today. I should have bought them out to show y'all. They are so cute. And I came home and I said, I wonder if I was supposed to buy shoes. And I dropped the dice. And lucky for me, it did say buy shoes. So I'm beginning with yes. Party. And romantic dinner. Spirit says, forget it. Massage. And 29. So spiritual partnership continues. This can very much so be about your divine union. Beginning with the world. With Archangel Michael, a job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude. The path toward enlightenment. An opening to the 9 of air, expecting the worst, not self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights. The world is a major arcana card number 21 to be exact. Often involves 3 energies, or sometimes another person, an actual triangle, like that Mercury that got the boot. It is about being brought out of a situation by the karmic energy of the universe, right? The universe stepping in to ease you out of. So you sort of lose control. That free will I mentioned, you sort of lose that because the universe is now like in the driver's seat for a while. So if you've been worried about a situation that you've been trying to get out of, the universe steps in. You have no need to worry. You need to get some rest instead and let, maybe Archangel Michael do his job. The world. And when you get out of that old situation that you no longer belong in, you get a new path on which to walk, a brand new one that you've never explored before. You got to take the leap of faith, though. Jump at it. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. And it's funny because this is the last card in the tarot. This Major Arcana card number 21, and 0 is the first. 0 is the Fool in the traditional tarot. The World. And opening to the 3 of Earth. The power of creativity. Recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. This could be about abundance. It can also be about a party of 3 situation. Perhaps a love triangle. And one more. It's the 2 of Earth. Too much going on at once. There's a need to make a decision. Maybe whether or not you're going to give the boot to one of those other energies. Consider a more playful approach. This can also be about working very hard, working 2 jobs sometimes, not doing very well at finding a balance between work and play or work and home life, and deja vu from hell for me. And I know a couple of you agree with me. In fact, I had a conversation with one of you this week, one of my clients this week. She was like, "You're not kidding when you say deja vu from hell." And that's really what it feels like to me, like coming to the same juncture over and over and over again. And why can't we get past it? But you know what? I am happy to say a lot of my clients are getting past that juncture. They're getting divine light cleanse. It has been such a blessing to us. I'm very thankful for it. They are very thankful for it. And they're getting past these blocks. They're finding mental clarity. Many of them finding new places of their own. They have been in, funky living situations. A bunch of them are now getting their own places. One that was in separation maybe 3-4 months ago, complete separation. Her divine masculine was living with another woman with his 2 kids. All that's over. Not only has he left that other woman and moved out, they went and found a place together. They were, apprehensive that they might not get it, but we kept the positivity up. We kept in our, our talks. We spoke it over her life and into the universe that they would get this place. They got the place. So now they're going to be, living together in a place that the 2 of them chose together. So no funky, karmic X energy on either side. It's a beautiful thing. But I have a whole bunch of clients, going through this now, like finding their own places, moving out of difficult situations and all that kind of stuff. So you can get past those junctures. It's that it's really like we have a clog. And the cleanse sort of like washes away these clogs, like Drano. It's not that you haven't been doing your work. So it's not like you haven't been washing the tub. You've been doing that. But if there's that clog there, even when you do that, it doesn't go down the drain. It doesn't go away. You're still stuck with the the adverse effects until that clog is gone. And that's the same way it works with us, with our energy. All right. Any case, because I'll go off on a tangent because it makes me very, very happy to see people healing, and it makes me very, very humbled and honored to be able to help them to do that. Anyway, so Knight of Water, emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative is the Knight of Water. Falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, and an invitation to a social event. The Knight of Water is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or somebody taking on those traits or attributes. And maybe they will be inviting you to a romantic dinner or to enter a 29 romantic partnership with them. Overall energy is Major Arcana card Justice with Archangel Raguel. This represents the sign of Libra, or maybe other air signs, Gemini, Aquarius. But first and foremost, Leela. Oh, this could be Venus, right? Venus rules Libra, also Gemini and Taurus. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. This is our overall theme this week. And so many of you found the what can we do for ourselves helpful that I'll do that again. So that's this row. Like surrounding energy, outside of us, external energy, these two. What the universe or God wants us to know. Specifically, what Archangel Michael wants us to know. King of Water. Trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured is the King of Water. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work, which is love. So we can be very... Now, the King of Water, he's emotional without being like overly watery or, you know, like wimpy. He's not like that at all. Like his emotions are not on his sleeve. They're in check, but he has them, if that makes any sense. He's a sensitive guy. He's a man with sensitivity. If you've ever heard that Ralph Tresvant song, if you haven't, maybe you want to look it up. A man with sensitivity. So he's, you know, he's warm and he's compassionate. But that's not to say like you can walk all over him or anything like that. You know, he's got it together too. And again, he's a Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer or somebody taking on those attributes. 4 of air. So we can get some rest. We can take a vacation. We can try to find a peaceful place to make a decision in our life that we need to. It's time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. So find like your peaceful place first, which maybe won't be so difficult because we're in a good place ourselves here. We're coming from a place of love and compassion. So we could, you know, even with regard to ourselves, we should be compassionate, you know, so we put other people before us. Consider yourself too. And that will help you to find peace and to make a decision. 10 of Earth. So we shouldn't be worrying about money or anything. And, you know, this is a week to not worry. This is a week to, if you do have a decision to make, again, get into a peaceful place. Otherwise, nothing to worry about. Finances, material things, we're good there. Love and, you know, just warm, compassionate feelings, we're good there. Surrounded by the Empress, abundance too. Lavish abundance. Give birth to your dreams. Nurture yourself and others. For some of us, this could have something to do with our mother. And it's a positive thing. Maybe she had been ill or something. She's better now. Is what I'm getting for some of us with the mother. If there was a decision about your mother, again, this is positive. So, you know, just whatever decision aligns with, you know, good news and positivity and not worrying about is the one with which you should go. For others of us, some of us may be giving birth ourselves or becoming pregnant this week, or people around us. That could be happening with them, people close to us. Giving birth, becoming pregnant this week. Also, we are very like attractive and bubbly and popular, you know, spotlight on us, all eyes on me type of energy about us this week. So it's a fertile time, definitely a time to make your dreams come true, whatever those are. Also surrounded by the Hermit with Archangel Raziel. Also, this could be a Taurus specifically or Libra in our life that is helping us to bring this abundance to bear. And this a Virgo that guides us to go within. This can also be like some sort of counselor, professor, or something, somebody wise, you know, to whom we'd go for advice, maybe with regard to this decision. The hermit can be about enlightenment, some information we need to come to us. And again, that's positive too, with the 10 of earth sitting here above this. This is about happy family and things going well. But for that decision, some of us may want to retreat, consider ourselves, put ourselves first, nurture yourself and others, right? Give birth to your dreams. What does God want us to know? Strength. Great in the strength. Release harsh judgments. Instead, exercise some forgiveness and compassion, like the King of Water, except this represents the sign of Leo and fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius. And it's about taking back control. It's about having the strength to take back control of your own life, basically. Make decisions that are best for you. And you can learn what those choices are by going within. That's going to allow you to make the decision. What else? Ooh, 4 of fire, contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, and the successful completion of a project. So some of us, what we're giving, you know, the dream to which we're giving birth, it's a new relationship. For some of us, we're moving. For some of us, both. Like I was just talking about, you know, a bunch of my clients. Some moving out with their mates, some just moving out on their own. But it's a, you know, it's a dream come true for them finally. And, you know, they've had the strength to make it through. Now they're having the strength to take back control of their lives and not, you know, continue to stay with their mother with whom they fight, or their father with whom they fight, or a sibling, or whatever the situation is. An ex-spouse or something. They're getting out of those karmic situations. King of Fire also is what God wants us to know. King of Fire, this can be here because of Aries, right? The full moon. This can be here just representing like the strength and the energy that embodies all that makes up the divine masculine. It is again also a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. This whole row here at the bottom of what God wants us to know is about the element of fire, right? Leo. Any of them and any of them. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. So very, very good week. We have the kings mirroring each other also. I would say this is definitely Mars. Mars is the ruler of both Aries and Scorpio. And this is Venus. And you see how they're right up on each other. Just like we learned they would be in learning about what the constellations and the celestial bodies would be doing this week. At the heart of the matter from Archangel Michael, what does he want us to know this week? 3 of water, a celebration. I think it really is. I think for the most part, this is not about a party of 3. This is about a celebration because, again, we're giving birth to our dreams. Some of us are moving into a new home. Some of us are moving into a new home with our mate. Some of us are getting married. Some of us are entering some sort of commitment, relationship. We've made the decision to let's try to give it a go and make a family of it, even if the family is just made up of me and you. And that's what we're doing. Justice. We're doing what's right. We're getting our just due finally. Like where we have been putting other people ahead of ourselves for the longest and maybe not, you know, getting what's coming, blocking our own blessings too by doing that. That's all over. Let's see what the Ascended Masters would add to this, beginning with Queenofswords and drink more water, which we need to continue to do because of the ascension that continues, and opening to the power of joy. So I just read a whole story, a beautiful story about the power of joy in relationships in particular. And I think that's what we have here, laying here. If you look at these cards, it's a really, really beautiful spread. There's not one negative card here. Drink more water. Detach from drama, says Pallas Athena. So again, I think this has to do with moving out for a lot of us. Detach from drama. And trust, says Vishnu. I'll go one more. Teacher. All that life experience has brought us to this point, right? The Hermit, We might do a little last minute teaching, simultaneously being the teacher and the student in our own lives by going within, trust with what we come up, and make a decision from there and move on. I'm going to cut. Ah, boom! Twin flame, 29. The overall energy is Lu, persistence. I think that twin flame, again, is represented very much so this week by Venus and Mars. Mars is, maybe some of us might want to like read up on Mars in this regard. Mars is the masculine planet of love. Venus is the feminine planet of love. So the two of them being 0.2 degrees away from each other. And then they say we're going to continue to move. I don't know how, but I think it said they were going to continue to move even closer than that. The two of them being that close is really, really phenomenal. And again, we also learned that it hasn't happened since 1995. So it's also a very special occurrence. And I think we're seeing it right here in both versions, both aspects of Mars, the very loving and emotional one. And I feel that that's the one we're going to get, not the necessarily aggressive one that can get aggressive in an unattractive way. So we have the balance that we need between these two aspects of Mars. So, persistence. All right, so further to this, King of Water, mother, wife, sister, daughter, Lady Nada. I've said that I was feeling some of us have something going on with our mother. So this can be in that relationship. Some of us have a relationship with a feminine energy that requires healing. And it can be our mother, wife, sister, daughter, or mate, or whatever. It can be our own inner feminine as well. But for some of us, I feel that this is about the fact that your mother was ill, and maybe you want to spend some time with her with the 10 of Earth having shown up too. Have some family time or something. Atop the 4 of Air. So you got a decision to make, some of you. And it's a decision whether or not to remove a person, place, or thing, a combination of those from your life. And White Tara says you should. Purification. Detox yourself of stuff that no longer serves you and aligns with your journey. Atop the 10 of Earth. See the other person's point of view. So if you're having difficulty with a family member, a close friend, or something like that, like a King of Water, we're going to want to be considerate of that person's perspective and opinions and stuff like that. That still doesn't mean we do what they want us to do, or, that still doesn't necessarily make them right. But we're just taking into consideration like the big picture, everything around us before we make a decision. But again, whatever leads you to purifying your life of anything that is toxic for you is the right choice. We are surrounded by, in addition to the Empress. Yes. So like, should I follow my dreams? Should I take this leap? Should I, will you marry me? And all that kind of stuff with this crossing the 4 of Wands. And the answer is yes. It's like, go forward. Lord Ganesha has moved the obstacles out of your way so you can give birth to your dreams this week. Atop the Hermit. Why are we going within? About what do I need? Enlightenment. This is health and healing. So that has to do with the purification too. We're detoxing our lives. That's for our health. That's why we're ridding ourselves of these people. Yes, we're looking at both perspectives. We're seeing their point of view. That's for us too. That's so we can make the most logical and fair decision for us. All goes towards our health and healing. What does God want us to know? The top strength, we have the teacher. It's our life experiences, the lessons. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's the stuff that we've gone through that has brought us to this point and has prepared us for, where we are now. We do have that strength to take back control of our lives as a result of all the things that we've conquered thus far. Atop the four of fire and crossing yes is Jesus here with open your heart to love. So some of us being asked again, will you marry me? Will you go to romantic dinner with me? Will you be my girlfriend? Will you be my boyfriend? Whatever the situation is. And the answer is yes, because the obstacles are moved. And even where we can't see maybe that they've been physically moved, we're going to presume that they have been because Ganesh says they have. And our hearts tell us that they have. We have that foresight, and we're going to take a leap. We're going to have trust in ourselves and in God and in the universe, and we're going to take the leap and open ourselves up to love. Wow. What else? Atop the king of fire, freedom. So this is, and look with the moon here. So this is very much about that Aries full moon, just as I was feeling a moment ago and mentioned. This is about taking back control of your own life now we need the aggressiveness of Mars, right? Now we need that very traditionally masculine energy of Mars to take back control, taking back my freedom. And then, doing with what I want to do, living my life like it's golden. Like Jill Scott says, I'm taking my freedom and put it on the shelf. It's for us to dictate, where we go from here and how, in pursuit of joy. At the heart of the matter, atop the three of water from Archangel Michael, stay focused, and that's how we will get what we want in the end. You've come this far, don't get distracted now. Stay focused, and it's all coming together. From my surrender cards, masculine, surrender to your soul's path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Did I just say all that? Talking about the teacher and the strength card. Embrace every lesson and every moment. Feminine, surrender your fear of intimacy. You're ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns, right? Free yourself of that stop you, purify yourself of that. Any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. Angels to the masculine, two of water, boom. A relationship continues to grow closer. There's some forgiveness that comes into play and the positive resolution of a conflict. In other words, joy. Feminine, five of air. Be careful. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. I'm going to clarify this one actually in just a moment. And masculine, come out of the closet, says Amaterasu. So those of you who have been in retreat, who have been in maybe even actual physical separation, it's time for you to come forward, is what this says. Those of you who haven't been living your, real life, you're being your true self, you've been wearing a mask, you've been hiding in the closet, it's time to come out. However this applies to you, it's time for you to be you in your truth and surrendering to your soul's path and living it. And lastly, from the Ascended Masters to the feminine, I had a feeling when I saw this, I'm like, this must have to do with the drama. And look at this, detached from drama, five of air. I am going to, especially if the first one is upright, I know that, well, it's not, but let's see what the next one is. Let's see. The world. Okay, so it's having to do with, some sort of long drawn out situation. It's gone on too long. and you just need to get out. Maybe you're conflicted about it. Maybe you're worried about it. Maybe you have some fear in that regard, but it's time to let that go. And again, allow the universe to help you out of this old situation, help you to detach from that drama. I hope that you guys find the general reading helpful and that you enjoy it. I'll be back with love. Namaste, angels.